Hello all. So let's start with the ninth part of this tutorial. So let's get started. So as you can see over here, we have completed the texturing part over here. So we'll continue with the texturing part of this model. So very first of all, let's freeze this selection so it won't disturb it. Or also you can use Alt Q, that is for the isolation mode. So let's go into the material and let's give a V-Ray material over here. Let's go into the V-Ray material. Let's select the bitmap part, and if you have a texture, so you can just apply a texture on top of it. So let's apply this texture over here. So right click and isolate. So I'm just applying a wooden texture. So if you want to apply a wall kind of a texture, you can apply a wall texture, or even if you want to apply any of the textures, you can easily apply the same textures over here. Select this part, convert to the poly, to select all these elements. So you can make this with the help of a railing option which is available. So you can assign any kind of a metal texture if it is required. So if you want to apply a metal texture, so you can easily assign a metal texture if you have a metal texture. So let's assign a bit of a darker texture over here. Go into standard, V-Ray material, and V-Ray material. So you can just assign a bit of a darker texture to it, and if you want to give a bump, so you can give a bump and make it more rough. So you can just select and you can just assign the same texture to it. So now let's again switch into the camera view. So as we have done the texturing part over here, so you can just unfreeze all. So you can just unfreeze all the elements. Whatever elements you want to unfreeze it, you can easily unfreeze it. So you can also select this part and you can push it, if you want to push it a bit more, so you can just push it over there. So you can just select it. Let's just attach it. So it can be a single element. So you can just select and just push it over. You can just select and make a copy of it. Great. So once you're done with it, you can just do it in this way. So now we are going to use a lighting part over here. So let's check out some kind of ground texture over here. If you have any kind of a ground texture or the ground texture, let's go into this V-Ray material. Can check out in the bitmap part. So you can use a ground cover, just check out some kind of ground textures. So if you get some better textures, so you can easily assign those textures. So let's assign this gray dirt texture over here, and you can increase you can use the UVW map option, and you can easily resize it, and you can do it this way. So convert this into editable poly. Let's go into the camera view. So now for the lighting of this particular stuff, you can just go into the lights. Let's take a V-Ray light, and if you just apply a V-Ray light, so you need to define the key light. So if you have a source light like this over here, so a lot of things required. So let's go into the viewport. So I'm defining a different. First of all, I'm just checking the light over here. So this is a default V-Ray light which I'm just applying. So we have not done any kind of changes in the render settings yet. So we are just applying the lights. So you can increase, decrease this area also, and you can. So just if you render it, and if you see, so if you just render it, check it out. So there are nothing much changes done over here yet. So this is just a default light which we are just applying over here. So a lot of changes needs to be done over here. Okay, so for this we can go into it, and we can take a V-Ray sun. So V-Ray sunlight. So let's take a V-Ray sunlight and add a V-Ray environmental map. So V-Ray sun is a good source of light, so it will work as a key light. So let's go into it and apply some sun color, make it a bit more yellowish. Okay, so go down, you can go into this, increase the ambient radius. So if you increase the ambient radius, you can increase it. You can increase the ambient radius. You can shift this a bit back. So let's push this like this. So this is a better way. Go down, you have an option called intensity multiplier. So let's make the intensity multiplier as 0.3, and it's just, let's check the rendering part. So I can see the light which we have assigned over here is too high. So you can just reduce the lights. So you can, let's make it as 0.05. So as you can see, still the lights are too high. You can still reduce the lights. So let's just check it out. So as you can see, it's just rendering. Okay, so up till now we have just assigned a sunlight, that is a key light. So let's assign one more light that will be acting as a fill light over here. you can use it for a bit of a support over here. So as you can see, so if you change the color of the light, you can see there will be some changes. As you can see, the light is coming from this area, so you can shift this light a bit over here. Okay, so we don't need more light, so let's reduce it to 1. You can reduce this light to a bit 1 and click OK. So if we increase it, you can use it as a fill over here. So let's go into the options, make it double-sided and make it invisible over here. So now let's check the render output. So still, if you want, you can reduce the light of the sun. So sunlight can be reduced a bit more if you want. So there are a lot of changes needs to be done in the render setup. Okay, so thanks for watching this tutorial. We'll continue the rest of the settings in the next tutorial.